Welcome back, guys, to this 7th tutorial on our full course on HTML and CSS for beginners. In this 7th tutorial, we are going to be learning all about CSS selectors. So selectors permit you to determine the exact HTML element which is being styled. So in this tutorial, we are going to be learning all about them. We are going to be taking a look at the main CSS selectors, which are the ID and the class selectors. By the end of this tutorial, I'm going to be showing an easier way of selecting HTML elements using Chrome DevTools. So I've already gone ahead and created a simple web page. We just have the HTML and we have our styles here. So it's just made up of, we have an H1, paragraph, H2, paragraphs, HTV, paragraph, HTV, and paragraph. So if you take a look at the browser, this is the H1, this is a paragraph, this is the H2, paragraph, HTV, paragraph. So we are going to see how to style this web page, and we are going to be explaining selectors, how selectors are being used. So in the previous tutorial, we saw that we could style the elements using the element names themselves. That's, for example, if we wanted to style this H1, we could, since as we know it's an H1, we can use the selector H1, which is the name of the element, and maybe give it a text align of center. And we see that the H1 is center aligned. We could as well style the paragraphs using the paragraph name as the selector. So if we want to style these paragraphs and give them a font family of sans serif, what we could do is we are going to give paragraph, which is the name of the selector, and font family of sans serif. And if we save, we see that the font of the paragraph has changed to sans serif. So that's the first way of styling HTML elements. So in this tutorial, we'll be looking at how to use IDs and classes to style elements. So let's say we wanted to select this H1 and style it using an ID. What we are going to do is we'll come to our HTML, take the H1, give it an ID as an attribute. The name of the ID in this case, let's call it H1. Then we'll go back to our CSS and select the H1, and the way you do it is you give it a number sign. The name of the ID in this case was H1. Then the style we want to apply, let's say we want to give it a color of purple, and we save. You see that the H1 now has a color of purple. We can do the same to any other element on the page. To style an element, you just need to give it an ID and you apply the style. Let's say you want to apply another style to this second paragraph. You select the element uniquely with the ID, meaning you come to the HTML, give the element an ID, and an ID must be unique. Not two elements can have the same ID, meaning that only one element will have a particular style if you use an ID. Say first paragraph. And the way you style it is you come to the CSS, the number sign, first paragraph, and let's say we want to center align the paragraph, so we are going to give it a text align of center and saving. We come and we see that the first paragraph is now center aligned. That's how we use the ID to select particular elements to style on a page. The next approach, which is using classes, is going to permit you select more than one element on a page. Let's say we wanted to style this paragraph and this other paragraph in the same way using the class selector. So what we do is we are going to come to our HTML and we are going to give the two paragraphs, these are them, this paragraph and this other one, the same class, and we are going to style in the same way in our CSS. We come to the paragraphs and give it a class of, let's say, para. Come to the other class wants to apply the same style to, and give it a class with the same name, para. Then you come to your style, and the way you select the class is you give a dot and the name of the class. In this case it was para. Then we can give, let's say, a font style, of italic. See now that if you come to the browser, see that these are the two paragraphs which have been given the font style of italic. So that's the main difference between the ID and the class. The ID is used to select a particular HTML element. In this case, we selected the H1 and the paragraph with different IDs. And if you want to style multiple elements with the same style, you give them a class, the same class. In this case, we gave this paragraph and this other paragraph the same class to be able to style them in the same way. So the next method we are going to be seeing how to select an element to style is using the Chrome DevTools. So in this case, let's say you want to style this element, this last paragraph, differently. An alternative way of selecting it, rather than giving it an ID or a class, can be to right click on the element itself, go to inspect. So this is going to open the Chrome DevTools. For this last paragraph, see that one on the last paragraph, and what you do here is you right click on the paragraph, you go to copy element selector. So Chrome has made it possible for you to select the element directly from the DOM. So if you copy the selector for this element and you come to your CSS, you can now paste the selector. So you see that it gives you another way of selecting the element. So you're selecting the paragraph as the 11th child of the body. So the paragraph in this case is the 11th child of the body. If you come to the HTML and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you see that this last paragraph is the 11th child of the body. So that's what Chrome has helped you to do automatically without you being the one counting it. So you can style now this paragraph and give it, let's say, a color of, let's just say green, no problem, green. And if we save and you come back, you see that this paragraph now has the color of green, and that's an easier way I can see of selecting elements on a page. So in summary of this tutorial, we saw how to use the ID and the class selectors to select HTML elements to style on the page, and we also saw how to use the Chrome DevTools to select elements to style on the page. If you are interested in this type of content and you got value from this tutorial, consider subscribing to this channel, and you can also turn on the bell notification for more updates on this kind of content.